But the coolest story of the week came on Monday with the announcement that AEW and the Owen Hart Foundation will be collaborating to honor the legacy of Owen Hart. As part of the partnership, AEW is going to be launching the annual Owen Hart Cup tournament, which will see the winner receive a cup known as the Owen, as well as new Owen Hart merchandise, including action figures, posters, t-shirts, and Owen as a playable character in the upcoming AEW console video game. That is very cool. And it's nice to see his family embrace his wrestling background. They shunned it for so long, not because they wanted to erase his past, which it certainly seemed that way for a while, but not because they wanted to erase his past, but because they did not want to have anything to do with WWE. They did not want to do business with WWE. They did not want WWE to further profit off of him and off of his legacy. And you can understand why. Unless, of course, you are one of these deranged fools that I saw online this week who pitched a fit over this news, or were offended because in their warped mind, WWE owns Owen Hart. And I'm not just talking about owning certain copyrights and trademarks. I mean, these people think WWE owns the man's soul. And like some psycho ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, if they can't have him, no one can. As much fun as it was to be a wrestling fan this week, I was equally embarrassed to be a wrestling fan this week. Between this and someone going and making a video seemingly in the parking lot of a fucking Dairy Queen somewhere on the side of the road, ranting about female content creators who cover pro wrestling. I mean, the cringe was strong in the community this week. The Owen Hart stuff is a nice way to honor a guy who died in the ring. And he died in the most tragically unnecessary way that somebody could possibly die. It should never have happened. And his family wants nothing to do with the company that sent him to his death. Albeit accidentally. Not only sent him to his death, but then had the fucking gall to turn around and sue his widow. And they'll say, well, no, it was just a legal tactic or whatever. Doesn't matter. They sued his widow. If you can't understand why the family wouldn't want anything to do with someone like that, and you somehow take that personally, and I said this the other night, and I will repeat it again here, you need serious psychological intervention. And I hope you get the help that you need, because you are a disgrace to all wrestling fans. Some other news and notes. The G1 Climax is underway, and New Japan continues to be snake-bitten. This company just can't catch a break. Tetsuya Naito, one of the biggest stars in the company, last weekend in his opening match of the tournament against Zack Sabre Jr., tore the meniscus and MCL in his left knee and is out of the remainder of the tournament. They say there is no timetable for his return. All of his remaining matches will be counted as losses via forfeit, with his opponents gaining an automatic 2 points. I am way behind on a lot of the G1 matches. I did watch Tanahashi and Okada, because I will always make time to watch Tanahashi and Okada. And not the best match I've ever seen them have, but it was excellent. It's awesome. These two, I mean, it really, I don't know if you could even make any kind of comparison, if you want to call them Flair Steamboat chemistry or whatever you want to call it, but these two have had legendary matches together for years. It's been a while since I've seen the two of them in the ring together. So it kind of sort of in a way felt a little fresh, and it was just a fantastic match with Okada picking up the win. They went about half an hour. But I've heard great things about the matches with Zack Sabre has had, even the one that he had, I think just this morning it was, with Kota Ibushi. With Shingo Takagi against Ishii from night one. So I have a lot of catching up to do. But Tanahashi and Okada I thought was fantastic. And New Japan just needs to stay the course and hope that their luck changes soon. COVID has really done a number on them and their business and their attendance. And having someone like Naito go down with an injury, if he's going to be out for any length of time, and we don't know yet, but if he is, it's just another blow to this company. It's going to be a while, speaking of injuries, before we see Sami Callihan on Impact Wrestling again. He suffered a gruesome injury at their TV tapings last weekend. He has been teaming of late with his old foe, Eddie Edwards, against Moose and the former Colin Cassidy. What's he called now? W. Morrissey? Is that the name he's going by? There's no word on who he was wrestling at the time, but the injury came on a tope suicida. Out to the floor. How many times have I ranted about these dives? Something like this was inevitable. Per PW Insider, Callihan suffered a broken ankle and also broke both the tibia and fibia bones in his left leg. That sounds a lot like the injury that Sid Vicious suffered in WCW, which is the most horrific ring injury that I have ever seen. He's already undergone surgery. He is expected to be out until mid-2022 at the earliest. Best wishes to Sami Callihan. Any injury is terrible, but that one sounds especially bad. Superstar Billy Graham is in the hospital dealing with heart issues. He wrote on Facebook that he was headed to the Mayo Clinic earlier this week. His wife, Valerie, later posted that he also had fluid buildup in his lungs, which is improving, albeit slowly. I feel like Billy Graham has been dying for 20 years now. He had a liver transplant in 2002. Then he had more liver problems later, along with his hepatitis C. And he was given 2 years to live. That's with treatment. He was given 2 years to live. That was in 2012. He's had double pneumonia, among many other issues. Now heart problems you can add to the list. But he always seems to kick out. And Deadline.com broke the news that MGM is teaming up with WWE for what they're calling a reimagined version. I hate that word, reimagined. Of the old American Gladiators show that first ran from 1989 to 1996. I have a lot of fond memories of watching American Gladiators on Saturdays on our local Fox channel, Fox 5, after WWF Superstars would end. They would go right into American Gladiators with Mike Adamle and Larry Zonka. One of the very first competition series on television. Now, of course, there's dozens of them. This time around, they would be using WWE stars as the Gladiators. It's no wonder Vince McMahon is looking to get rid of all the small indie guys and looking to bring in all the big, beefy men. Why'd he get rid of Braun Strowman? He would seem like the perfect fit for something like this. But now it all makes sense why they're getting rid of all the indie guys. I can totally see Odyssey Jones as a gladiator. Karrion Kross already dresses like one on TV, so he would fit in perfectly. Mark Burnett is pitching the series to potential broadcasters, so there's no guarantee that the series actually gets picked up. Seth Rogen was part of a team that pitched an American Gladiators remake 3 years ago that went nowhere. Hulk Hogan and Layla Ali hosted a remake on NBC back in 2008. That didn't last very long. So the odds are against this, A, being picked up, and B, being any kind of real success. But I like American Gladiators, so I hope it gets picked up. I'd like to see what a reimagined version might look like.